Hey guys, Brent Hull, Wednesday design video. Got an interesting project out in California, a 70s ranch that wanted to be very traditional, wanted to be very classical. Come check it out, come check out these things. Really just a few things. You gotta get the windows right, you gotta get the materials right, you gotta get the porches right. Come check it out, let me know what you think. Some fun changes to this house, a big transformation. Okay, so this is a house in California that we're working on. Client came to me and they wanted something more traditional, and so I presented a couple different ways to get them there. If you're building a traditional house, really the windows are a huge deal. One, you don't have a casement like this in a traditional house. I mean, a traditional house is a double hung window, but it's not this size double hung window, right? And so window sizes and window openings and their relationship to that historic tradition is very important. And so, immediately on this house, I'm not doing a 3-part window. I'm doing 2 large windows on either side, and these are going to be double hung, right? I'm going to do the same thing above, right? They wanted more light, so I'm trying to get them a larger proportion, but immediately going to that kind of window light on this side, I think makes a huge difference. The other thing is that's challenging is their existing roof is this low, at 3 and 12 pitch. How that works, you'll see I'm kind of been drawing in, taking that roof off. They've actually priced that with their contractor out there. And really, this becomes really pretty easy if I can, raise these things up. This gable end is pretty hard because it's so wide, so we're going to work on that. But, changing the roof pitch would be number 2. So number 1 would be getting the windows right. Number 2 would be changing the pitch, right? I changed the pitch and all of a sudden this house starts coming together. They've got a split gable back here, right? So they've got this gable back here and there's a window in here. When they build this new addition on, because right now, that's not there, and this other side's not there. So right now it's just this. When I build this on, I can get rid of that gable end because I'm gonna have a roof going this way. Certainly dealing with the porches, okay? This little 4x4 column isn't gonna work with a traditional house. Let's say that's a 10-foot height thing right there. I need at least a 10-inch column. I need an entablature, right? And so there's gonna be a architrave, frieze, and cornice in here. And you'll see that that's what I've put in here. And so what I've done is I've tried to break out, this porch detail because they want a 3-car garage. Now, what I've done is I've fit the 3rd car in here, okay? And I've reduced the size of this gable end because if I'm going to match this pitch, let's just say I got a 6 and 12 on this roof, my roof is going to be up here, okay? So this is a master bedroom upstairs. It's like 25 or 30 feet. And I'm just like, you don't need that much space for that room. So I've, gone from 2 9-foot with 4-foot centers over here to 1 18-foot door, right? And so by doing that, I can take off a ton of portion of that gable end, right? And now I've got something that's relatively in scale with this. And, I've moved the garage over into this area. Yes, that works on the floor plan. And so that's the way we resolved that. But look what I've done. I've got 6/1 windows, which are, for traditional turn of the century, period revival, very colonial revival. I've done a better front door. I do not like this double front door with this open lights. I mean, they're just, that's from a ranch house. That's a very modern house. This house was built in the 70s, so that makes sense. We're going to have to get rid of those details and those elements that are just speak to that 1970s McMansion feel. So, there's a kitchen window back there. I'm going to have them play with that. But if you had a bench here, right, it'd be really pretty. If maybe there's a little thing with something there. All of a sudden, there begins to be a relationship between these. This becomes a very inviting porch to sit on. I've opened up the opportunity since this kicks out that we could put a balustrade across here by elevating this balustrade with the little X over. I've signaled where the front door is. And so when you drive up and you come across and you look at it from the street, you actually know where your front door is. And so, this is their master above, 3 windows instead of, that kind of sliding arrangement. Again, You'll notice that I've changed these windows to those windows just by changing their size and scale. It tells a more traditional story. And so this ends up, I think, looking really sharp, and I was excited about that. They came back and said, okay, well, why don't we do this now, where we put the garage on the outside and, you know, have the garage on the inside, this same kind of arrangement, but I want dormers, okay? So that means we now, you know, if we go back, kind of look the way it was, we're gonna go back with some dormers, right? We've slid this over from where it was, and so there's now just 3 windows there. You know, this garage is kind of a shed over here, and this is like a sun porch, again, very appropriate. And so just taking traditional elements and traditional details, changed the door a little bit, put double hung windows in here. I've elevated these 2 windows because they wanted really large windows. And then the last thing they said was, well, what if we kept that low pitch, and what would that look like? So I sketched over top of that, and I feel like it works. It really makes the dormers difficult to do, and so I'm not sure the dormers work, but a low pitch also can work on this house. Here's how it's kind of coming together. So, you know, we went from, you know, this to, you know, to this, maybe to this. And I think that the client really now has a very traditional house from where they are, but it does require kind of introducing these traditional elements. Windows, number 1, you know, the scaling, the roof heights, and then just traditional details so that it all works. But this is a pretty exciting house. This is be fun to see this transformation. Hope it turns out. Okay guys, how'd I do? Do you like the low pitch? Do you think it still works with that low pitch? You lose the dormers, but I think it kind of has a groove that I kind of like, and so kind of a fun exercise. Certainly it'd be a huge transformation. Look forward to seeing how this client does.